So how does John Mayer sound like John Mayer? Just what is his secret sauce? You want to get the lowdown on his style? Hang out to find out. So firstly, we're going to look at the live intro from Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, which is absolute classic John Mayer. It's kind of like Hendrix, but a bit prettier. Now, I'm not saying you're not pretty. I'm saying he's kind of like you, but in a slightly prettier way. Sorry about that, Big Jim. Then what we're going to do is we're going to break it down and we're going to look at 5 classic little John Mayer licks and ideas that will make you instantly sound like John Mayer. First lick we're going to look at, which is more of a concept than a lick really, is how John Mayer plays out of chords. He does this, yes, I know he nicked it off you, and that's cool, loads of people nick stuff off you. He did it in a very Hendrix way, and let's have a little look at that. Now he's going C sharp minor to A, E. So the whole thing is kind of in E major, which is the same as C sharp minor. And he's playing little fills out of that, right? So we could go, and we're thinking there, C sharp minor pentatonic position 1. And lots of little double stops as well. Then you go down to A here. Now he might have played E like this. Again, like someone you know, right? Instead of doing E like this, we're doing E like this, right? So we're taking that part and we're putting the major third on the bottom. Yeah. Now what we're going to do is just kind of take these ideas and put them into a different context, because this is what you want to be doing. You want to be nicking John Mayer's ideas and making them your own. So let's choose a slightly different chord progression, right? Let's go C sharp minor. Then let's go B major. A major. Yeah. Then we're going to go C sharp minor, B major, E major. Now that's very John Mayer. It's kind of like he's taken, and this is a lot of what he's doing, he's taken a lot of Hendrix's ideas, yes, you again, and putting them in a more modern context. So it's almost like he's taken sort of modern poppy song ideas, but then doing Hendrix stuff around them. So he's just kind of bringing that Hendrix sound forward. That's a massive, massive amount of what John Mayer does, yeah? So if you think about your Hendrix lines that you do, and then think about modern chord progressions, you know, just nick some, that's going to give you kind of this John Mayer sort of feel. So then we get something like... Now that sounds very John Mayer-esque to me, because it's quite a modernish chord progression. It's kind of loosely based around the same sort of concepts in Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, but I've made it my own chord progression, and you can do that yourself. So try and think of modern chord progressions, nick them off current poppy sort of records if you like, and then just add some John Mayer twists to them, and we're going to come up with some more John Mayer twists now, so you know how to do that. If you want a further explanation of what John Mayer's doing over Slow Dance in a Burning Room, check out my Patreon by clicking the link below in the description. I go into much more detail on the start of the intro of Slow Dancing in a Burning Room before he gets into the main melody, because there's loads of little sort of cool little noodly ideas where it's almost like the best bits of John Mayer just sort of crammed into this sort of big noodle. Concept 2 or lick 2 is going to be his use of double stops, and particularly his use of thirds. Now what do I mean by thirds? I mean he's playing a note and he's playing another note which is a third away from it. And by a third away from it, I mean 3 notes up in that, whatever that scale is, okay? So, basically, he's doing things like this. Yeah, so here's your C sharp minor. And that's a C sharp note, and that's the minor third. Yeah, so doing little things like that will make you sound very much like John Mayer. So let's go. Yeah, that's a very little John Mayer thing to do. And then you've just got to kind of figure out where you can do that all over the neck. And what we can see is the easiest way to visualize it is this is within the pentatonic scale. That's the 2, there's a C sharp, yeah. So it's kind of coming out of like a C sharp minor scale. And he's just joining these notes together like this. We could go there if we wanted to. Yeah, now that will work it over E major as well. If you think about it, that's E, that's the major third. So I'm seeing like E major now with that major third on the bottom, yeah. So the next concept is where he slides a bit like that. Right, instead of picking every note, he's sliding, and that just gives it a really nice feel. I mean, this is the great thing about the guitar, is that there's so many different ways of playing notes. So instead of playing, which is pretty boring, that's cool, right? And it's basically a line that goes root, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah? Starting off on this E. It's better if you've got a little bit more sustain than I've got now, to be fair. A bit of compression will help with that as well. Now, you can find that in different areas on the neck. So if you think about it, I'm going root, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2 and back again. Well, I'll find my root here. I can do that. Then I'm coming at position 2, aren't I, yeah? And you don't have to just limit yourself to root 2, 3, 4. You could do it in all different parts of the major scale. So you could work up, let's start with a major scale here on this root. That's what we've just done, but we might start here. Yeah. But trying to slide into notes, right, rather than picking them or bending into them, is something that John Mayer does, and it just gives this extra sort of flavour to his playing, which is mega cool. So next we're going to think about how he thinks of chords, right? So we've got C sharp minor here. Now he does that in the song quite a lot, right? Now you can think of that as, think of the E chord here, because remember C sharp minor and E major are the same sort of thing. This is something Keith Richards did a massive amount. I'm not saying John Mayer's nicked it off Keith Richards, but they're playing a major chord and then playing, it almost looks like F sharp minor, doesn't it? But really what you're doing is you're playing around with this sus4 thing. It creates a bit of tension. That's a really nice little thing that he brings out and he's playing in quite a lot, especially in slow dancing in a burning room. But Keith Richards does it. Let's think of Brown Sugar. Yeah, it's the same sort of concept, but it doesn't sound modern or pretty like John Mayer's does. So doing that is quite a John Mayer thing to do. Now you take your C sharp minor chord. Instead of playing it there, play it here. You can do a similar sort of thing there. There's C sharp minor or C sharp minor 7. And then we've got position 4 under our fingers. So if you join that together, just kind of noodling with John Mayer's ideas here on how he plays chords, right? And trying to move around the neck with my C sharp minor 7 there and there, and filling around that. And then he goes to A, you might see A here. Right, thinking of this A chord, position 2 on might think of A here. I'm thinking of this little D-shaped A chord. This is all this cage stuff. Now you might see it here. And see position 1. But the idea is that wherever the chord is you're playing, you know what the pentatonic scale out of it is. So this little lick, we're going to come out of this E major chord with the 3rd on the bottom, which, yes, you used in Wind Cries Mary, yes, right. And we're going to walk up position 1 to that E note, and then come back down to that E note there. Which sounds very John Mayer-ish. It's very much centered around the root note, and you can feel it coming back to that root note. But if you try that over Slow Dance in the Burning Room, it'll sound really good. So there's a whole bunch of different John Mayer licks and ideas and concepts for you to get your head round to sound like John Mayer. And remember, it's the way he puts the Hendrixy sort of stuff into a modern context that makes the John Mayer thing work. It's very, very cool. There's no doubt about it. It's one of those sort of things you can get stuck in for weeks, months, and just noodle around with this sort of stuff because it's so, so cool. So if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Your support is always very much appreciated, and catch you next time.